Dead Rising 3 is one of those games where it's really, really great, and then it's really, really terrible, and then it's really, really great again, and then it's really, really terrible again. It's an impressive technical achievement and a showpiece for the brand new Xbox One, but it can't quite live up to its own hype. A sprawling, open-world action horror game, it soars when it allows players the freedom to explore and wreak havoc. But Dead Rising 3 also suffers from clumsy mechanical execution and stale writing better left to the last generation. So you play as Nick Ramos. He's an athletic everyman doing his best to survive in Dead Rising's post-zombie apocalyptic world. Nick runs with a small group in Los Perdidos, a fictional Southern California city, and at the outset, it's been condemned to a bombing. Nick and company have 6 days to escape, which makes for an effective narrative device and kept things tense throughout. In the open-world tradition, there are main story missions that kept the narrative moving and a host of side missions and other distractions. Los Perdidos is positively swarming with infected, and in order to both level up and get from point A to point B with your skin intact, you need to kill them. As in previous games in the series, just about every object that isn't nailed to the walls is fair game to use as a weapon. You're also encouraged to jerry-rig wacky new weapons out of the available materials. Nick can also craft vehicles. This is the best way to travel in Dead Rising 3. I always enjoyed my time in custom rides and felt rewarded for making the effort. All of your crafted goods, weapons, rides, and even recipes yield better results than the standard stuff, so it behooves you to get creative with all the junk lying around. Throughout the whole game, I was free to run amok around Los Perdidos, explore, and cause chaos. This freedom was my favorite part of Dead Rising 3. The most memorable moments in the game occurred when I ran off the beaten path to find hidden Frank West statues and fight optional boss battles, or simply see how many zombies I could run over in a stolen car. The scale of the world is impressive, and the sheer number of enemies moving on screen at any given time is enough to give zombie survival fantasists dreams for years to come. Both melee combat and gunplay are simplistic, but typically effective. But Nick often felt sluggish to control. He has a weak jump and a knack for picking up items that are lying next to the ones that I actually wanted. This isn't a problem until you start to encounter the more maneuverable boss enemies, where the game breaks down into an exercise in frustration. Playing Dead Rising 3 can be a schizophrenic experience. I was angry at the game whenever it required precision from me, precision that the controls just wouldn't support. But I was thoroughly enjoying myself whenever it let me run amok and get creative with weapons and vehicles. It's a game with great ideas and intermittently poor execution. The writing in Dead Rising 3 could have done with some rethinking as well, as several characters in the game represent tired, clumsy stereotypes. I fought psychos that were basically racist, sexist, transphobic, or homophobic jokes. These characters were meant to be satirical, but the writing is too poor and juvenile to pull it off. Dead Rising 3 gets a lot of things right. It presents a massive open world filled with possibilities, and features the first truly impressive use of scale in a game based on a zombie outbreak. But the game's difficulty spikes, due to its control and inventory issues, and stereotype-laden writing, can be difficult to swallow. There's a very good game lurking inside of Dead Rising 3, but it feels unsteady on its feet.